absolutely delighted today to have a testimonial interview with Mr. Nick Thring of Duncan Yeardley. How are you, sir?
I'm very well indeed. Thank you very much for having me, Simon.
It's very good. I don't know if it's a clock or a halo, but I'm going to go with halo because I know you're particularly good business here. So that's the approach I'm getting at the moment.
To fair, actually, yeah, bang in the middle of this clock. I'm
yeah.
quite self-conscious now already.
No, now it looks more like a target, but that's really going to put you off. Look, I think, Nick, many people from within the industry, certainly, like on the guild side of things, they'll know your business. You're known as a really strong independent, aren't you? Would you mind just sort of describing, though, introducing yourself and the business, how long you've been going, where you fit in the marketplace, just so people understand a bit more about Duncan Yeardley themselves?
No problem at all. So, yeah, Duncan Yeardley as a business has been going now for about 35 years. I took over back in 2012 when Duncan retired. So the last 10 years, yeah, we have gone from strength to strength. We've got a very well-established Bracknell office, and depending on how you carve it up, we're kind of market leader over there now. We moved over to Ascot as well, which is the town next door, but albeit very different in terms of market and demographics. We've been open here now for a year and are beginning to get some good traction here. That certainly helped to build and improve our profile over in Bracknell. So I'd regard ourselves as sort of middle, upper end now in terms of the market. We've got a great team, great culture within our business. So we now have 25, 26 people across the business. Got a big, as I say, strong sales department, but also a growing lettings and property management side of the business as well, which we've had now running for 8 years.
And anyone who knows that part of the world will know that's not nowhere sleepy, is it? There's some it's really competitive around there. A lot of agents. No one can sit on their laurels, can they?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got some good players here in both our towns, and yeah, definitely keeps us on our toes. We've always prided ourselves in being very innovative as to how we operate. Yeah, good old sort of fashion agency, customer service. We've got some very strong reviews, good followers. A lot of our business comes from recommendation. However, yeah, we do certainly embrace prop tech and all those bits as well, just to keep us ahead of the competition.
Nice. Well, look, what we're going to talk to today is we've got a few different angles here, because you've been working with the team from Crux for some time here. And what's interesting there is that Crux actually now has a multi-layered approach, don't they? They obviously are well known for their recruitment, but they've done training and mentoring as well there. And another service they've just introduced as an offshoot there as well, in terms of kind of employment and tax optimization, I suppose, for staff. So there are a number of different threads to what Crux is able to offer. And what I like about it is that one of the problems we get told when people sit with us on reviews is, God, I just have so many different suppliers. It's really hard to invest the time, energy into each of those in which I'd want to. And what Crux seems to be able to do for you, because you're taking advantage of this, is although you've got more eggs in one basket, as long as that basket is the right one, you end up actually with a benefit, don't you? And that strikes me.
Definitely. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you've given a pretty good overview there. So from our point of view, yeah, we have worked with Crux now for, from memory, 5 years, five to 6 years. So Ian White, we all know. So I used to work with Ian back a long time ago in the heyday of Romans. Yeah, we're both obviously local people, kind of paths crossed, but we got back in touch, as I say, 2016, 17, and I think certainly it was a great time for our business, just where we were. We had seen a fair bit of growth within that sort of first 4 or 5 years when I took over, but with everything happening, one on the prop tech side, which obviously he's very in tune with, but also from my point of view, where the business was going, I just felt I needed some mentoring, some support there, to take it to that next level. And that's exactly what has happened. So Ian has certainly been very supportive, very influential in what we've done over those past few years. Obviously, we've seen slightly different marketplaces with the challenges we had, certainly going into COVID, lockdown, and so on. But yeah, I personally enjoy working with Ian. I think he embraces what we offer as a business and our culture, and it's maybe perhaps slightly different to some of his other clients, and certainly how we did it back in Romans. On the Crux side of things, again, just very much in tune with what we do. So when we have used recruitment companies before in the past, we do often find that, you know, they're just getting candidates out to us, not really paying too much attention in terms of the filtering. You know, are they actually going to fit in with our culture? Are they going to be the right people for us? And very quickly, I felt that was different to what we dealt with previously with other companies. Not all, to be fair, but you know, it was very much quality over quantity. So when they were putting people in there, they'd already done that vetting process. And sometimes they would come to us and say, I've got this great person, but actually in reality, I'm not sure they are going to be quite right for you, but do you still want to see him, giving me the opportunity? So I think from that side, yeah, it works well. Ian still, obviously, he's not involved in the day-to-day side of that things. We mainly deal with Miles there, his son, who's very good indeed. But Ian still sort of has a say and a bit of an involvement, if you like, as to who he thinks, does see fit.
And you spoke about some of the strengths there, but I mean, and it's well known out there, some of the weaknesses of other less reputable kind of recruitment firms, you know, they get involved in that whole, they might find you the candidate, but actually they could be almost just as guilty of trying to bounce them back out again when they're
exactly that. Yeah, we all know that unfortunately that has happened, you know, at times. But yeah, I think, you know, the people that they have put into our business, I think in the main are still with us, which is great. And yeah, they're also very good at the follow-up as well. So it's not just a case of putting them in there. They keep in touch with both the candidate and with me to find out how they're getting on. Is there any more that they can do? So yeah, it's good service.
It's taking the long-term view that's probably refreshing there, isn't it? In that you
definitely, building that relationship,
understanding if you fit the right person with you, they're going to get more business in the future, which certainly wouldn't be the case with the other types of recruiter.
Yeah, and it's great because they know, as and when we have got a position that we're looking to fill, that I'll go to them as a first port of call. But also what they are quite good at doing is coming to me with some speculative candidates. So it may be that we aren't actively looking, but that we've got this person, think they will fit in, and we have actually ended up recruiting 1 or 2 people on that basis. That we managed to make room for them in the business because they did fit.
And look, I mean, realistically, at the moment and over this period of this buoyant market, you know, that most difficult task of all of finding the right people in any kind of quantity has been the hardest. So that's where Crux's access to the right size pool and in terms of quality as well really has to step up, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, quality and also speed, I think, is the other thing with them, because often, you know, as we all know, you speak to a recruiter, you give them the brief on the candidate you're looking for. Oh, brilliant, yeah. And then you don't hear anything from them. You know, you kind of just go into the pool where, you know, we do get updates, even if they haven't got anyone, just to let you know, Nick, yeah, it's still very much on our radar. You know, we're speaking to these people. I've got a couple of people in mind. And it's very rarely that I've ever had to do any chasing.
And how, just going back to that kind of the training and the mentoring side of things, what do you think the key strengths of the operation there? I mean, I'm guessing that, you know, Ian and the teams, their knowledge of the industry and experience has got to be a big tick in the box, hasn't it? We're not talking generic sales skills here, are we? We're talking people who have
industry specific, exactly. You know, and they've been through it, haven't they? And I think particularly with Ian, as I say, he's a local guy, so he knows our immediate market very well. There's one that he actually worked in at the sharp end. But exactly that, it's not just those generic skills that, you know, we all look for. It's very much industry specific. And I think from my point of view, yeah, he's helped support, as I say, and guide me and reassure me, and he will bring me to task if there's anything that particularly I haven't done. So there's that accountability. But with our team there, you know, whether it be on a one-to-one basis or some group sessions we have had, and we're actually up in the ante on that now as the market's becoming a little bit more challenging, going back to some of the things that maybe either have dropped off or haven't been so relevant over the last 18 years, 2 months, that we now need to get back into. So we've been implementing that over the last 6 months or so, and that's worked brilliantly. And that's certainly where, as I say, Ian does play a strong part. You
mentioned there the accountability bit, and of course it's a bit that sometimes can be a bit uncomfortable, can't it? But that's where
it can. But
it's where
we all need it.
It genuinely is, isn't it? If you're going to be, there's lots of people out there that will do kind of generality and kind of blue sky thinking and stuff like that, but which is important and it's great there. But if you're looking at this metric of improvement and everything else, to hold you to the standards and the promises that you've made is where you get the real results, isn't it? And I know
it is.
I've heard from other people who have said that as much as anything is, you know, when you're in the middle of it, it can seem a little bit daunting, but actually getting yourself into good habits, good practices is really where you pay off in the long term.
And then as soon as the guys actually, as we found, start to see those results, so as you say, yeah, they might feel the heat under their seat a little bit on certain things, but actually all for good reason. And when they start to see, as I say, the results coming in, whether that be the numbers or monetary values, then it does make a difference. But yeah, I think, you know, Ian's always been very good at making sure then when he does next come in that we follow up from where we left off, but also just keeping in touch with whether it be myself or the other guys in between, and that's where that accountability is good. So it's not just left from 1 month to the next.
So what do you think was one of the most surprising things you found about Crux? What did you not, you know, you saw there the pitch and whatever else there. Is there anything out of the service, out of the offering that surprised you that you got from Crux that maybe you weren't expecting to get straight away?
I think for me, probably just the overall difference. So I think particularly on the training and mentoring side, very quickly, Ian and I engaged and felt we were kind of, you know, on the same path. You know, he saw what, he understood my ambitions, if you like, with the business. And that's the good thing, that he doesn't try and push you down a path that isn't going to be right for you. But I think just where we were at that crucial point in our growth, that it just helped to accelerate that. So that's what I was surprised by, because maybe at the start, having not worked with anyone in particular or on that personal sort of level, I was a little bit unsure, actually, not in an arrogant way, but how much difference is this going to make? But again, as you say, going back to the accountability and so on, it did. So I think overall, it was just, yeah, on that side of things, how quickly we managed to put certain things into place. But on the recruitment side, again, I would say, yeah, just how they do stand out from some of the crowd, to be honest with you. You know, what they say, they get on and do. And yeah, they've been successful in putting some great candidates in our business.
And how do you find the after service? You made mention to that earlier, I think, in terms of kind of the after service account management. That's all very much hand in glove again to make sure you're getting what you need out of both sides of it, from the training.
Definitely, yeah. If there's ever any problems, then yeah, pick up the phone to them. They're always very quickly to respond. So yeah, no issue with that side at all.
Bill, and the members of your team, they echo what you have to say in terms of, obviously they're not getting it from the recruitment per se unless they've been brought in, but from the training and development side of things, they get that same feeling of this is a
in the main. As you well know, not everyone embraces training in the same way. You know, either some feel, you know, I don't need this, I already know what I'm doing, or otherwise I'm too busy. But I would say that, yes, again, because it is a bit more personal, yeah, they do. And we measure results in the same way that any other company does. And I think being able to go back on these and actually demonstrate that what we have gone through is making a difference, then yeah, it definitely, you know, the guys are behind it.
And you mentioned results. Are you able to kind of quantify any of the results that you kind of get from it, or is it just a feeling that year on year, you know, that they are in your corner delivering value?
I'd say definitely year on year they have delivered value. There's no question, and we've kind of pushed and pulled depending on where we've been in our world and what's going on as to how much we have used their certain services, particularly on the training side. But there are other things. If there's a particular task or subject that we are focusing on over a period of time, then yeah, we do make a point of actually measuring that. So I want to know, obviously, from my point of view, if we're paying someone to come in and do it, is it actually making a difference? It's also my job, as well as the managers, to follow up on these things after to make sure that it is making a difference. So yeah, we certainly have you know, got some tangible results. Maybe not so much, I think we are beginning to see that now, but pre-COVID, you know, we're in that period from 2016 to sort of 18, 19, and yeah, we saw some massive differences. You know, we've kind of doubled our turnover in that period.
Wow, that's amazing.
Quite significant.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give him all the credit for that, by the way.
I was going to say, this would become evidence A, wouldn't it? If it was, last thing you want to give Ian White is the ability to justify. Okay, that's really good. And there's a final element, isn't there, as well? That's a different part of the string that Steve's brought into it with the, I think it's called the TMS group now in terms of the employment side. It's a tax optimization tool, isn't it? That ostensibly allows those members that you and indeed the staff member decide to go on can take advantage of the tax, by essentially becoming a consultant.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of other things worth mentioning on that side. So, as again, certainly Ian introduced me to Steve Mead, who I know you know well. Good guy. He's been very supportive as well of our business. So we've got a handful of our team now who are on the TMS platform. Again, it was just really from our point of view, giving our staff the choice. So, you're happy being on the PAYE, that side of things, all very straightforward. We know how that works. But yeah, this just gives them the flexibility to be able to earn slightly better because of those efficiencies and the benefits that does come with being on the platform, depending on what else they've got going on in their world as well. A couple of them have buy-to-let investment properties, those things. So that whole sort of tax umbrella, etc., just gives them that bit of flexibility. So that seems to have worked well. We've got a couple of other people that are contemplating going on as well, but I think it just depends, where people are in their lives in terms of whether they want to go down that route or not, because although they're still under the same terms as the others and treated in exactly the same way within our business, for all intents and purposes, they do become self-employed.
I think that's a really key point, isn't it, there, that you're able to, it is horses for courses, as they say. It's not done dictatorially, is it? You're going down here, Steve sits down with them and just explains exactly what it's going to look like. I mean, headline figures that I know they've spoke about with other one is like the business can sometimes save around 15% in terms of payroll. They can sometimes get as much as 10% more in their pay packet and things like that.
Yep.
So, again, but sat down and understanding what it looks like for both parties, the critical thing for both the employer and the employee, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's win-win, as you say, for both sides as such, but it is a case, and I was certainly very careful just to say, look, you need to think about this carefully. Don't rush into it. Is it for you? In most cases it has been. The other thing, that Crux do offer is HR side as well, so support there, which we have tapped into a little as well. So, but small businesses like ourselves, obviously can't justify and don't need to have a full-time HR person on board. There's various other things that we use with Federation of Small Businesses and so on have in the past, and I'm pleased to say we've not had any major issues on the HR side, but Crux have also been very helpful on that side, and I know people can sort of sign up for a fairly nominal fee each month as well, just to get that sort of support, as and when, if it is something contentious or someone's going on maternity leave, those sort of things that you can kind of chuck back at them.
So it sounds to me like they can keep you as lean and mean as you need to be as a business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've got the flexibility.
Excellent. Okay, so final thoughts in terms of Crux. I mean, just summarise on looking overall your overall experience with them as a business. How would you rate them?
I'd rate them, from my point of view, 10 out of 10. I think the support that I've had and the business has and what they've enabled us to do in terms of our growth has been excellent. And most importantly, do you know what? I enjoy dealing with them. And I think that's a big part. I've been doing it now for, long enough. And I think there's some great companies out there and so on. But if you don't get on with that person, or you just don't feel that they're bringing on board what you want to, then it doesn't always gel, does it? And
hang on, were you winking at me there? I think it's a really good point. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of being able to choose, the businesses.
You don't. You have to put up with it.
It doesn't half make it easier when you can, though, does it? And it's
definitely, I just want these things to be enjoyable.
It is, because there's more. I mean, look, it's the way of the world. More and more businesses becoming corporate, and you tend to lose that. But when you can have someone in that corner you can talk to really honestly and who understands, and I think that point cares, it's a nice change, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. So overall, hopefully that's a pretty good summary.
And it goes without saying, as long as it's not your competition, I guess you'd be recommending them to any other agents looking for a solution or a set of solutions like this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would, definitely.
Excellent. Well, I wish you all the very best. I wish you another doubling of turnover in the next few years. You'll be going some to do it, by the way. But
yeah, exactly. But,
there's anyone that can do it.
We'll see what the next year or so brings us. But certainly so far so good.
Excellent. Fantastic. Look, Nick, can't thank you enough for taking the time out today to share your thoughts on Crux. What they're doing. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.